What's up, guys? How you all doing? It's Nshadow here with my newest version of my Joust tier list. Today I'm going to go over, as briefly as I can, some of the major changes, I guess, that I've made. If you take a look at my last tier list and compare it to this one, you'd see a very large overhaul of a lot of the stuff that I had. A lot of this is because, I'll be honest, a lot of it is because of like shifting opinions I've had. With the more and more I've played this game mode, you know, the more I've run tournaments for it, the more I've played better players, things like that, and the more I've observed other players, has definitely shifted a lot of my opinions. But it's also been the evolution of builds. You know, new ideas constantly being brought to Joust. Unfortunately, usually for the worse, because it seems like people just keep finding more and more ways to make this game mode, you know, imbalanced. So, what I'd like to like really outline with this tier list is that anything below this line here of S, anything below here, is really, I don't want to say not viable, because you can win with some of these gods in A, and you could even win with some of these gods in B, and you know, and so on. But it gets increasingly harder the more you go under this S line. You know, you're gonna start to feel it when you're playing an A god. You feel the little bit of handicap that you're giving yourself versus your opponent, who, if they're playing the new OP gods, or the gods that you know I've newly placed in OP, that I strongly believe are in or should belong in OP right now. Kronos, of course, always the Joust god. You just can't beat him in almost any scenario where the Kronos is as good as you, or even slightly worse in many occurrences. But here we have Freya making a huge, I believe she was in, where was she on my tiers for? S. So she went from S to OP. And a lot of this, a huge amount of this, is due to, one, me completely underestimating her. And that's most of the Joust players were actually very much underestimating her and not putting too much time into her. But it's also the change to the pen boots. Magical penetration early on with her is just so important, so key to the way that the god is played, that now you have this just unstoppable snowball-y kind of god, you know, whether it's that she gets an early lead and becomes sort of unstoppable, or she has a rough time, even, like, because you can pressure her with certain gods, right? She doesn't have the best clear, she doesn't have the best push potential with her, you know, very slow tower progression, but she has like arguably the best late game other than Kronos and AMC, probably the only ones tied with her, I'd say. And you know, you can't really stop her from getting there, because she has the tools to fight back no matter what the deficit she's at. You know, she's always going to be able to burst you down regardless of how far ahead you are, if the Freya player plays it correctly. You know, it's just too hard to like constantly tower dive her, like putting yourself at a disadvantage in position wise and stuff, and still beat her. So I feel like this god is just really above, you know, a tier above the rest. Same for AMC. The big difference with AMC here that I had from my last list is that people have been doing a lot of double defense builds. Credit to Muscle Shark. He was like really preaching that. Not that, you know, he originated it or anything, but he's the one that really brought it to my attention how strong it was. And with that, the god just, oh my lord, I can't tell you how frustrating it gets fighting an AMC with double defense, because he has the natural attack speed built into his kit with the hives, hives that, if placed correctly, can't be destroyed in a fair fight against this guy. You know, if he's got proper positioning and he puts his hive in the right place, it's just going to be impossible to duel him. So you got that. And then you also have, a god that scales like any other ADC, just phenomenally throughout the game. As you can see, most of the ADCs are in S or S plus, and only a select few really dropping below that range. None of them below B right now. What makes AMC different from the rest, though, definitely the hives, the easy accessibility of his ult, being able to regain it every time he uses it, and with such a low ass cooldown, just being able to control the fight so well, control your positioning, and his push potential is just unreal. It's completely unreal, especially with using the Titan glitch right now, where something that's never been fixed in Joust but has been present for so long now that you can auto attack the Titan from outside of its range without drawing aggro. So AMC, of course, putting down a hive and doing that while someone's dead for like 10 seconds can get the Titan from full health to maybe about half, depending on what stage of the game it is. Even only like midway through the game, though, he can do this. He's just that kind of push god with his hives. So yeah, AMC and Freya definitely, I believe, a tier above the rest, along with Kronos. Now it's kind of tough because I do believe Kronos might beat both of these gods. Some people show strategies and stuff to beat Kronos with AMC. Stuff could be kind of worked out, but I do feel like Kronos might beat both of these gods, and maybe we can have a super god tier for for him. But basically, these three, I think, are all just a cut above the rest, and should be your first ban priorities. So when we look at S plus, not too much has changed here, other than AMC going up, Vulcan going a little bit down. Reason for this, mostly that I just feel like I was overvaluing the Vulcan a little bit. These gods just seem obviously a little bit more powerful than him matchup wise across the board. Apollo moved up because he has the unique position with his mez to force someone into either Shield of the Underworld or beads, and they can't really go sprint in those situations, or they can't go beads, and then you can mez, create a safe distance, and completely own the fight. So you can turn the fight based on the fact that you kind of need 3 actives to fight Apollo, if you're an ADC or if you're most mages. Most assassins especially, he destroys assassins, especially like Bakasura, Bastet, Kali. He's a huge counter to them, because they're gonna feel the need for the Shield of the Underworld, first of all, right? Because you need Shield of the Underworld against ADCs. It's just how it's done. You can't really, that's a necessary item. So you have that, then you can't go beads to get out of that mez and reposition yourself in the fight, or allow him to reposition himself. And then if you go those actives, you don't have a sprint, and he can go Frostbound Hammer and Fatalis and just destroy your life and really make things unpleasant for you. So he's in that unique position where he can, because of that single ability, that Mesmerize, and the the attack speed in his passive, everything like that, just kind of sets him a tier above most of the other ADCs. Along with Ho Yi, though, who is just, oh my god, the triple, the relative ease that you can hit a triple bounce in Joust is just ridiculous. The lanes are so small that all he has to do is mark you, jump, and instantly shoot it against the wall. Like, you can be in the middle, you can be at the side, it doesn't matter where you are in the lane. If he hits you with the mark and a jump, you just get triple shot, if they do it correctly. And it's kind of ridiculous. Unless he beats that knock-up, which, it's the cooldown on the 2 and the knock-up is obviously like 8 times less than beads. You're not going to be able to get out of that combo, and it's going to take like 3/4 of your health. So very strong Hou-Yis are going to show that. You know, sometimes you might not be able to notice it because people aren't as great at pulling it off, but you know, it's near guaranteed. And with the, you know, positioning that his ult grants him, things like that, really just sets him very high up there in the tier list for me. I like to emphasize that, of course, this is by no means set in stone. You know, with, like I said, with each tier list, opinions change, builds change, but there's always this basic mold, right? The warriors and the guardians, usually on the very bottom, their push potential is weak. Their 1v1 potential in general is usually weak. Like, Ymir has some of the best 1v1 potential early to mid game out of nearly any god, but the late game just cripples him. He can't push. He ends up being destroyed by a few items, like whether they go a Magi's Blessing and a Beads, and like a sprint, and they use auto attacks to just like keep him down with like Fatalis Frostbound, or they just, you know, end up outbursting him with ability damage. Unfortunately, gods like that just tend to fall off, you know, and he doesn't have any real ability to end the game too early. So without, you know, without running through this thing and without going, like, you know, way over the time I've given myself for this overview of the new tier list, I think the most important things to remember are that, like I said, this line, in my opinion, is the problem in Joust right now. These gods, most ADCs, some of the backdoor gods like not Kali. Well, Kali kind of can, but you know, with her ultimate late game. But Bastet, Bakasura, just these gods are. If you're against them, you're really gonna feel it. You know, you're just gonna feel the imbalance in the game mode, in my opinion. There are some exceptional players who still win despite fighting these gods, and they're using a little bit of lower tier gods, obviously, like Mextex with the Vamana. There's a guy named Suspension who's an amazing Loki. You're going to find things like that, but it doesn't mean that the god is as good as the other gods. You know, it just means that either the player is outplaying, the player that they're fighting doesn't know the matchup to, you know, to the best of their ability, things like that. So this, I'd say, though, is honestly the most confident I felt about a tier list. I really think I took more time to think out each step. That's why you see so many like subtle changes, like Ra moving down a little bit, because the later in the game it goes, the more you can just counter build the Ra and just make his life miserable, and things like that. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Remember to you know, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you've been enjoying. I do upload videos here every single day with, you know, in-depth commentary on my matches. And make sure you follow me over at my Twitch page. Make sure you follow Eager World, the boys, which I am the community manager for. If you want more info on that and stuff, visit our website at teameager.com. Make sure you visit our store, teameager.com, teameagerstore.com. All these links will be either in my either in the YouTube page or the Twitch. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this helps out with, you know, any questions, anything like that. You can direct them to either I'll have a Reddit post for this. You can do it in the YouTube comments, on Team Eager, or on my Twitter. Anywhere you guys want. Especially my stream, just hang out, drop some questions or anything. But yeah, it's been good. Hopefully, the next time we see a tier list, it'll be for the updated Joust map, which I'm really, really hoping brings more balance and more enjoyment to this game mode. I can't. Oh man, it's been. I was hoping that I wouldn't have to make another tier list until that new Joust map came out, but obviously it's not the case. So I went ahead and made this one as probably the final tier list before that new map comes out. So let's have our hopes high, boys, and you know, here's to Joust getting a bit better. Peace out, and thank you so much for watching.